There are a million people who go, I'm going to start a company. And about 900,000 of them don't make it to the next day.
It's really common to outgrow employees. Like someone might be an awesome fit for you at a certain stage in your business. And because that's part of a company and time of a company that makes sense for them and their skill set. And then later on, it's just not a fit anymore.
Loyalty is something you do as a friend. In the business world, speed is kindness. As soon as they hit a ceiling and they're not helping the company, you're best at being loyal to them is by helping them get a position where they can thrive and grow.
We are back with another episode of the Do As I Say, Not As I Did podcast, where we answer real and often insane Reddit questions about growing your startup. And today I'm really excited today because today we're joined by Alexis D'Amecourt, my American friend. He's the CEO at Mochary Coaching, where he leads a global team working with the world's most ambitious startup CEOs. With over 25 years of leadership excellence across tech, media, and entertainment, Alexis brings tactical clarity, emotional intelligence, and deep insights into every coaching session. His clients are founders and investors behind companies backed by Accel, A16Z, Sequoia, and many, many more. They've raised over $4.1 billion and scaled teams into the thousands. At the core of his coaching is the Mochary Method, a proven framework of leadership used by icons like Sam Altman and Brian Armstrong. He's guided by empathy, humor, and honesty, and he helps leaders grow their companies as quickly as you can imagine. But I think Alexis is actually one of the most interesting characters I've ever come across. And his rhythm of speaking is interesting, and his view of the world is like very, very curious. And every time I spend time with Alexis, I think he's making a point over in one direction, and then he makes me have this realization in a completely other part of my life. He's a phenomenal coach. He's like a very, very kind person. And I think he's much more intelligent than anyone actually realizes. Like, he's a smart guy, but I think that Alexis understands the currents underneath a lot of stuff that most people overlook. So, man, thank you for your time today, and I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. That was the best intro ever. I'm going to use that and give it to my wife and my daughter and be like, this is what I want you to wake me up with every morning. And that was amazing. He's much smarter than, I think he looked. No, it was great. That was really nice of you. And I think that's the show, right?
Yeah, let's wrap that one up here. No, so I told Alexis we're doing a bonus segment because he doesn't know about the segment, but I have a segment inspired by Alexis. So you've actually heard the name Alexis on this show a lot at this point, because all year I've got a new segment that I've stolen from Alexis, which is, Alexis, I'm going to share 10 words with you, and I just want you to give me a one-word response. So I heard you do this at the start of the year at a conference or meetup that we were at together, and I loved it so much. So I've got words, and I just want you to give me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say them.
Shoot.
All right. Coaches.
Vital.
Okay. Life coaches.
Parents.
I didn't know how you'd take that one. That's good. Money.
Spendable.
Reading.
Impactful. Joyful.
Joyful. That's good. AI.
Necessary.
Startups.
Heavenly.
That's definitely one word. Tacos.
Tuesdays.
Italy.
Bellissimo.
And maybe one of the most opposite places in the world, Silicon Valley.
Muddy.
That's really good. The last word, drive.
Needed. With a K.
I'm so happy I got to play that with you. That was good. I've been thinking about those words for a while. Okay, I've got a bonus question for you as well.
And then I have one for you.
Okay, all right. Well, my bonus question for you, I have a belief on this, and I think I've probably talked about this on the podcast about 15 times. Do founders have a chip on their shoulder?
Oh my God. No, they don't have a chip. They have a boulder on their shoulder. They're the ones. Let me tell you, I say this to them all the time. You're the one who in 10th grade or, in 10th grade, you looked at a Friday night and thought how exciting you get to code or you get to do math problems, you get to do something or go achieve while everyone else was going to parties or going to do or watching TV and you were like, what? And people kind of blasted you for that. And now you're in a position where you're like, yeah, no. What I do is the cool guy thing. I'm doing the cool things.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
it's
The puppies.
it's definitely cooler to work on a Friday night in a startup than it is
Yeah.
in grade 10.
Yeah. I mean, I really think they have a chip on their shoulder, which is you have to, they're like actors. They go in front of, they go to auditions all the time and people say, no, I
Yeah.
don't like the thing you worked on. I don't like the thing you came up with. I don't like the product you spent years developing. And they take it and they go, at first they really go, oh, you don't like me. And then they're able to separate it. But
Yeah.
everything is a hurdle for them.
Yeah, I think I truly believe that I don't think every founder even knows this, but I think every founder has a chip on their shoulder because I think every founder has something to prove, and I think sometimes it's external, just like I'll show you, Dad. But I also think it's just as often like it's to themselves. There's like something inside them that they know they need to prove something to themselves, and I think that's what makes them. The good expression I heard on a podcast recording recently was, that's what gives them the energy to. Chew glass and shit for years and years straight.
It's I, there's a certain type of wiring that makes you go, I want to work on a Sunday morning because I have this incredible thirst, drive, and desire to go do this. And it is a road that is perilous. There are dips, there are areas, and a lot of people exit them, right? So there are a million people who go, I'm going to start a company. And about 900,000 of them don't make it to the next day. Really?
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah,
what do you mean I have to incorporate? How do I'm going to go get a job. Right. So
yeah,
it's a precious few. It's funny I tell CEOs, they'll be like, I'm worried about this person's going to leave and start their own company. And I'm like, no, it takes a certain types of vision and need for pain to go do that.
they're very probably not. And if they are, there's nothing you can do to keep them.
Yeah, go.
Yeah,
Go. I encourage you. Yeah,
yeah. All right. So you had one for me.
yeah. So with our last M3, I came up with a new question on the fly, and I think you'll appreciate this. Remember the last time I did the whole, hey, where do you have a blocker? Where are you a bottleneck? Where are you this? I went around with those B questions, but I came up with a new one. Is 40 CEOs were in a circle around me, and I said, all right, I'm going to start with you. So I'm starting with you, Joel. Whose shoulders did you stand on in your startup world to get to where you are now?
So many shoulders. It's a great question though. But the first one that comes to mind is my wife, because I had to go for a long time earning no money, and we had to survive. So,
Right.
and then she's the shoulder I would cry on when all those people say no to me. But the second one that comes up, very quickly is Matt as well. So Matt Mochary,
Yeah.
because I mean, first of all, his book is insane. If you haven't read The Great CEO Within, I've talked about it on this podcast enough. Just go and
Oh,
get the book.
yeah. So
um,
here's the
have you
second.
read that book actually?
I've
Surely
glanced at.
you've read it. Like, you're doing this whole framework, right?
And here's the second part of that question: who's going to stand on your shoulders?
Well, that's a really good question.
Yeah. And
I
I'd like you. Of course, your daughter is,
Yeah.
and other like that, but someone who either you work with, or you're mentoring, or is coming down the road.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there's a lot of people come to mind because I've been running events in Australia, and so I'm trying to like hopefully lift everyone in the startup ecosystem up here, and I'm doing that monthly. But I'd say like probably like a lot of our employees, like we invest a lot in like building our team and building them up to be as much as they can be, and like I feel really proud because I've just got the chance. There was a lady in my team who wanted to get into product management. We've just given her the chance to become a product manager in our company, and you can't always do that. You don't always have the opportunities, but when you get to give them, it feels so good.
I think that, and what I was trying to convey to the CEOs was, hey, we all stood on someone's shoulders, and we'll be fortunate enough to hoist somebody on our shoulders. And
Mm.
we're the middle of something, and thank those people you're standing on their shoulders,
And
and
then
then
ask for thanks.
yeah, and then ask for funding and money.
No, I mean,
And the people who are going to stand on your shoulders, you make sure you ask them for money too.
exactly. I mean, this is great. This will be we're just changing format of the show where I'm going to get coached now, and we might start to get deeply personal. But I know we're on a tight time frame today, so I do want to get to at least one Reddit question together. So I'm going to change the order around. I'm going to go to what was my final question. So, Alexis, this is called Balancing Loyalty with Business Profit. I'm facing a dilemma. I'm sure other managers have seen this before. I have 2 long-term employees who've asked for raises, and then I approved them. But now I worry I'm overpaying for roles that juniors could handle just as well. This work is administrative, processes are clear, and I'm now about 35% over market of what I'm giving them. I feel torn about loyalty to people who stuck with the company and my responsibility to run a lean, efficient business. Letting someone go to cut costs feels cold, but ignoring clear optimization also feels irresponsible in a competitive, thin margin environment. How do experienced managers decide where loyalty ends and emotional bias begins? From SNU Revelations 3802. So I actually don't know what you're going to say here. I've got my thoughts, but I really don't know what you think here.
I can't believe you picked my question.
Your SNU Revelations?
Yeah. If spelled backwards, it's I don't know how to coach. Okay. What is tell me about what you would say, because immediately
No, I want to hear yours first. I don't want to lead the witness.
All right. Oh, you won't be leading the witness, trust me. All right. Immediately I thought, here's some things. You're actually doing a disservice to the people you're loyal to, because that's like saying, hey, you're loyal, so I'm going to support you, right? And you're not giving them an opportunity to grow. So loyalty is something you do as a friend. In the business world, speed is kindness. And as soon as they hit a ceiling and they're not helping the company, right? Unless this is a lifestyle business, you're best at being loyal to them is by helping them get a position where they can thrive and grow. They've hit their wall with you. Also, you have a responsibility to the stakeholders, the shareholders, whatever holders there are, pot holders, plan holders, everything at the company. But the point is that, where you're coming through, it's some fear, which is, how am I going to be perceived? So you're starting to tell yourself a story, 3782. You're telling yourself a story that my identity is tied into how I'm perceived by those around me. And I've always wanted to be a loyal person. And the story becomes, hey, it's about loyalty. But where does that stop? You're running a company, you're a manager, and 2 things will happen. One is you'll be able to get somebody who fits the job description and allows you to run the company the way you need it. And 2, you'll support that person who's leaving by helping them get a great job. But the longer you wait, the more energy you are leaving on the table, the more energy you're leaking.
Yeah, you actually we are much more aligned than I expected. Yeah, like you said it beautifully, but get rid of them. Like be nice about it, be supportive about it. No, you said fire them, I think.
No. I said take them out
I'm kidding.
To a farm and let them run. Go just run.
Yeah.
When you get back in your car and leave.
No, I think I actually think you should get rid of them. Like they have hit a ceiling with you, and if you can replace them, you should be replacing them. And that's because you're not. You may feel like you're being loyal to them, and that's actually arguable. Like with what Alexis has mentioned, right? You're actually not setting them up for success and letting them become the best version of themselves. So you are actually holding them back to some extent, but you're doing a disservice and you're being disloyal to the rest of your team. So every other team member is now seeing that you accept average work and pay top dollar for average work. So everyone else in your team is going to be like, well, then why do I have to work hard? Why are these like expectations so much higher on me? So if you want everyone in your company to be shit, then you can accept shittiness. Like, whereas you can't just accept it one, like here or there. If you want A players, you need to get rid of other players. And you're also putting your company at financial risk because things might be okay now, but that's still 35% that could be going to someone else who maybe actually deserves it in your company or to
No,
an additional employee.
it will go. It will be needed elsewhere. The
Yeah.
number one issue startups have is they run out of cash. So you're actually putting your company at jeopardy. You're holding people back, and you're telling yourself this story. And I totally agree with you. You're telling this story that loyalty. Yeah, you know what loyalty is? You have a really good employee, and they, heaven forbid, they bust up their shoulder and they're away for a month, and you don't go, "Oh, I've replaced you." Now that loyalty is, "Hey, we got you." Loyalty isn't, "I've given you every, we're going to just keep you on even though you haven't hit this." Like I said, you're being loyal to them by helping them find a great job. If you just said, get, and I think you use this word sometimes, get the fuck out of here,
Yeah.
first for you.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah, that's pretty, that to me is, then you're not being a compassionate, considerate, conscious boss.
Yeah.
And it's the actions you do afterwards when they have actually nothing to gain. You have nothing to gain by that. That's
And
me.
I think there's actually like an article that Matt wrote, which is about good
Firing well.
firing well. That's
Firing.
it, firing
Yeah.
well.
I think it's in
And
his
so,
book.
yeah, every time we have to get rid of someone, we always do everything we can to help them get another job. Like just yesterday, I sat down with an employee we had to get rid of, and I went through my entire LinkedIn connections list with them, and I said, "Who do you want direct introductions to?" And I just opened it up to everyone, and now I've done 40, 50 introductions for them to try and go to get them into the roles that they want to be in. It just wasn't a fit at this time for us.
So there's two things about that. One is Matt has the philosophy that either A, he'll open the door for you, but he's only going to do once with a company. He'll either
Yeah.
open the door for you, or when you're on the 1 foot line, he'll help with that final push.
Mm.
Two, when I describe this to CEOs, and what it is if you go to the Mochary Method curriculum, Google Docs, which is free to everyone, you'll find one of the docs that we have is called Firing Well. And in it, it describes, hey, look, sometimes people are Series A people, and then you're a Series C, and it is time for them to leave. Or sometimes, but you take responsibility and say, hey, look, I did the hiring. It was my responsibility to bring you in, and I'm going to help you find your next position because whatever you're doing at this company is not working. So you let them go. And then, like you said, you open your Rolodex or whatever you used, and you go, okay, great, I'm going to help you. But the biggest question we get is, okay, well, what happens if that person is being fired for cause? What happens if they were just a really crappy engineer? And now you're going to go tell your good friends, oh, you should hire this engineer. Well, what we say is actually, you're going to help that person find the right role for them, the right
Mm.
role because it is likely that the reason they weren't a good engineering fit is because you sold them on something they weren't capable of doing yet. So there is the right thing out there for them, and you help them get the right thing.
I think I 90% agree with that, but I still think there are people who like you just realize they're dickheads, and I'm not doing anything there.
Right. So you find the opportunity, but we are also signaling to the rest of the company is, hey, we take care of those people, and I'm going to be
Mm.
very clear of how we're helping them. And you
Yeah,
may,
true.
look, I worked, there was a CEO out there who I worked with whose head of sales called him on a Monday and said, hey, look, I have a serious illness. I'm going to have to take a sabbatical. And he was like, oh my God, what is wrong? We'll do anything to help you. And that was in the morning. In the afternoon, the head of finance came and said, hey, do you know he overcharges Amex at a strip club in Miami on Saturday night?
Whoa.
10K. And he was like, oh, that's what? Oh, that's the illness he has. And so they fired him.
Yeah.
And he was like, how do I handle that, Alexis? I was like, I think, use your best judgment. That might not be someone, but that person needs help. And
Mm.
you can probably have a frank and direct conversation saying, use this time to go get some help.
Yeah. I think like just maybe one last thing I'll mention on this question before we wrap it up is that it's really common to outgrow employees. Like someone might be an awesome fit for you at a certain stage in your business. And because that's the kind of part, that's the part of a company and the time of a company that makes sense for them and their skill set. And
Yeah.
then later on, it's just not a fit anymore because you've outgrown them or the company's outgrown them, and they didn't want to go down the path, or that's not the path for them. And so you shouldn't feel bad about that either. Like that happens to every company as they grow. Like this is a very, very normal growing pain.
Oh yeah. And I think this is why I love talking with you. So I have developed this 30 question CEO assessment that I give to now all the CEOs I work with. And it's separated into different segments of 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to 50. And it's the progression of what a founder's journey looks like. Because what I realized was founders were coming to me saying, so and so's outgrown, we've outgrown so and so. But the one person who has infinite runway is the founder, and usually, the co-founder. So actually, who's telling that person they gotta go? No. And what I was saying to them is, and I had a bunch come to me and saying, great, I think, we raised our Series A. How do I get prepared for Series B in 18 months? So I started bringing this. I'd love to do that with you.
Yeah, I'm always down for that.
Like,
Any Alexis time in my calendar is great time.
you're like, no self-assessment here. Don't want to know about myself. Yeah, no, I'm serious. I'd love to go through this with you and then see what your colleagues say about you.
We should do that live on the podcast and just
You
put
want?
it out there for everyone to see just how, because we're pretty open at Vigo. We're pretty happy to share the good and the
You know what?
bad.
This is what would be interesting is that I do with you go through it, read it, and
Yeah.
you score yourself 1 to 5, and then we do the others, not
Yeah.
live, but we put it and we go, here's the delta, but we reveal it to you live.
Oh, yeah. That would be good. Let's do that. I'm actually really down for that.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
I don't share with you what the questions are. I just go to the next, and it's a skill description and the coaching prompt.
Yeah. All right. That's
Yeah.
good.
Let me give you one
Okay.
flavor. Where do you find yourself trying to fix problems instead of coaching your colleagues?
Everywhere.
Okay, so you would score yourself a 2 on that.
Yeah, I think mostly though when we have a commercial risk. So for like a customer going to churn or getting a sale over the line at the at the 99th meter line.
Right.
What those two things I am just always just like, I will fix this.
Yeah. So that makes you the bottleneck because
Yeah, for
then
sure.
everyone gets trained that Joel will take this over at the last moment. So I'm not even going to do that part.
Yeah.
So I ask you, what's holding you back from giving that responsibility or delegating it?
Fear of cash flow massively, because if we churn the wrong partner, that makes massive cash flow impacts. If we don't land the right partner, big cash flow impacts.
So you don't trust your whoever's in that role.
It's an interesting question, right? Because in some scenarios, I absolutely do. Like, I guess,
But not the number one, not the most important part of it, which is closing that deal.
yeah, I guess it depends on the deal, though. Like, the answer is definitely
There's
yes.
always
But
no. You're constantly moving the Australian rules football goalposts.
yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a lack of trust for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like across the board though.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
because these people I think are exceptional at some stuff.
Look, if you left for a month, what would be what would be the first thing that broke down in that scenario? You're gone for a month. You're in Bora Bora.
It's funny that you say that because I'm just like, I just wouldn't go on a month. I wouldn't take a month off at a certain time of year when I know our renewals are coming up.
Yeah, but you know what? It's going to happen. Something
Yeah.
is going to happen. The black swan moment will happen.
Yeah.
And so what I would encourage you to do is to go and say, oh, let me fix that thing. And so then I would say is take whoever that person is and have them shadow you on the next 3 deals and then shadow them to make sure that they have this down. It will free you up to do the CEO stuff, the
Yeah.
big picture.
It's good. I'll do it because I'm doing the work anyway. Why not have someone shadow?
Yeah, absolutely have something in shadow because there's going to be a day when you're like, hey, I'm not available and you're going to do it. And I trust you because
Yeah.
you actually go through it. You're amazing.
I know we've got through one question. My guess was two, but I'm not that surprised because
Do
that's
another
our
one.
conversations.
I have
No,
a few
we got
more.
to go. There's no way we'll get through another question. It just took us 20 minutes to get through one. So we'll wrap it up. So we got time for one last segment, which is plugs. So Alexis, what would you like to plug? What do you got to
Um,
plug? Give it to us.
what? What I would like to plug is, look, of course, Mochary Coaching, excellent CEO and exec team coaching. I also want to plug
Give us
books.
some highlights of the people getting coached at Mochary Coaching.
Uh-uh.
Give us the
No,
highlight reel.
no,
You're not allowed to?
I can, but I don't want to because we have great coaches and you can see it on our website. I want to take
Yeah.
1 minute to do this one thing, which is when I recommend books or I ask CEOs what books they're reading, it's always nonfiction or it's something. And it's almost like a badge of honor to be like, oh, I'm reading, you know, Goggins' book on how to, walk through glass and eat
Yeah.
sand or whatever it is. I really encourage people to read fiction. And I know you've gotten into fiction the last couple of years and you're reading a lot of fiction, but I would say read fiction, read female writers, read writers from other countries because it brings a different perspective. And it's just opens a different part of your mind. And it's like getting good sleep. It's restorative and it's an important part of your day. So please, the reading rainbow is yours.
I actually love that. And it's probably my favorite plug I've ever had someone have because I actually take this same plug to people all the time. Because when I
Yeah.
started reading much more fiction, I'd only ever read Harry Potter. That was the only fiction I'd ever read. And the rest of it was exclusively nonfiction and business books and autobiographies and self-help and Matt's book
Yeah.
and Matt's book and Matt's book. But then when I started reading a lot of fiction, it started to give me like very different perspectives of the world, right? So if you're reading from like a Sri Lankan author who, grew up
Which I've
through
done.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like through race wars, in a world that I just never understood. I was like, wow, I had never considered that as a challenge that someone would face. And then, like this,
Yeah.
I love the difference of perspective. It makes you feel more fulfilled. It helps me bring a different creativity into my work as well. So I'm
It's a
plus
creativity as
one.
well. And if you saw A16Z had a list of books and they were like, just read science fiction. And they did 25 science fiction books. And I was like, we're missing an opportunity.
Yeah.
There's such a broad spectrum of books.
I mean, it's pretty. What would you expect from A16C?
It's true.
And my only other plug is to read the Mochary Method. It's the best. Read the Great CEO Within, or like the Mochary Method curriculum is more up to date now. I know Matt's thinking has evolved on a lot of different stuff, but it's honestly
Right.
awesome. Like we use it all the
And
time at
we've
Vigo.
and we have updated it. And two, the most important part, let me plug this. It's free. The Google Docs are free. That's the best part of it.
It the start of the Mochary Method of the Great CEO, it talks about you should be at $1 million in revenue before you read that book, but you should read it from day one. I think it's super, super useful. It just helps you have a frame for how you do everything. So no matter what stage of business you're in, $10 revenue or $1 billion revenue, this curriculum is like exceptionally good. And I've read it probably like 10 plus times at this point.
I
And
really
if you're looking
should.
for a coach, go to Mochary Coaching.
Oh, yeah.
Coaching with Mochary Coaching actually changed our business for good and our life. And if you want to hear about what it's like exactly, we recorded the whole thing. Every coaching session is published in our other podcast called the Unicorn Launcher, where you can see what the coaching looks like and just how dramatic it can be on your life and your business.
Oh, I love this. Thank you so much for having me on. I
Thank you,
can't.
mate.
All right.
Well, this has been a great episode. We'll see you all next time.